speech, right to assembly, right to expression, right to freedom of movement, and right to speak against violence, and amongst other, have been the first casualties of the king's takeover. The human rights situation in Nepal saw a significant deterioration following the king's order, as restriction was imposed on media and human rights activists.
पत्रकार पदम ठकुरा ठीका हत्याराहरू यो देशको मन्त्री छन्। हामी वर्तमान सरकारका कुनै उपाध्यक्ष र कुनै मन्त्रीमाथि टिप्पणी गरिरहेका छैनौं। हामी राजा ज्ञानेन्द्रलाई सोझै भनिरहेका छौं, नेपाली प्रेसलाई जिस्क्याउने काम कदापि महाराज यहाँबाट नहोस्। यदि नेपाली प्रेसले यसको बदला लिनु पर्यो भने नेपाली प्रेसको गुम्नेवाला केही छैन, महाराजको दरबार हल्लिन सक्छ।
Despite these additional challenges and threats, WOREC continued its struggle to advocate for restoration of people's rights and establish democracy that was seized by the autocratic regime. This did not end the journey of WOREC Nepal, demanding sustainable peace. She actively participated in the 61st session of the United Nations Human Rights Commission on 9th and 10th of March 2005, coordinated by Forum Asia. Various human rights organizations from Nepal played a significant role, including WOREC Nepal. As a result, Agenda 19 was passed and the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights was established in Nepal. However, the atrocities of the king continued, and women committed for democracy and sustainable peace were subjected to various forms of violence such as threats, intimidation, etc. Women human rights defenders working at the community level were even more confronted with different forms of violence. It was during such a perilous situation that WOREC Nepal started documenting cases of violence against women with the support from women human rights defenders in 62 districts. During the documentation of cases, it was revealed that women human rights defenders faced risks at different levels.
यो पनि एउटा महिला हो, यसलाई यसरी सजाय दिन पाइदैन भन्दाखेरि ती माओवादीहरूले हामीलाई के भन्थे भने चुप लाग्नुस्, हाम्रो बीचमा तपाईहरु नबोल्नुस्, यदि हाम्रो खबर तपाई कहीं पनि पुर्याउनु भयो भने तिमीलाई चाहिँ नराम्रो हुनेछ, तिमी कुनै पनि मिडियामा दिन पाउनु हुने छैन, कुनै पनि एनजीओलाई खबर गर्न पाउनु हुने छैन। त्यसकारण त्यहाँ त्यो कुरा भनिसकेपछि जुन पीडित महिला त्यही थियो, त्यो पीडित महिला सुनेपछि हामी उसँग चाहिँ त्यस्तो कुराहरु राख्दा यस्तो हाम्रो एनजीओहरु छ, तपाईहरुलाई चाहिँ केही न केही साथ दिन्छ भनेर त्यो पीडित पक्षले जहिले पनि आशावादी हुन्छ, त्यो आशा राख्छ। त्यसकारण त्यो के भन्छ भने जब तपाईहरु स्वयं आफू त के रे सुरक्षित हुनुहुन्न, हामीलाई के सुरक्षा गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ भने त त्यो चाहिँ कुरा एकदमै आएको छ।
And those who shared their stories of violation were isolated by every sector, including the human rights sector.
Human rights भनेर जुन मानव अधिकार भनेर सुरु गरियो, रुसोको चार्टरमा म्यान्सको अधिकार भनेको छ, मानव अधिकार भनेको छैन। त्यसैले पछि आएर चाहिँ ह्युमन राइट्स भन्ने कुरा गरिएको हो। त्यसैले यो सबै चाहिँ म्यान्सको अधिकार भनेर सुरु भएको छ र जति पनि हामीले राजनैतिक अधिकारको कुरा गर्छौं, यो म्यान्सको अधिकारको दायराभित्रै बसिराखेको छ।
The voices were heard during the first national consultation of women human rights defenders held on 3rd and 4th of March 2006. Around 450 women human rights defenders from 64 districts took part in this historical consultation. The major objective was to nationalize the issue of women human rights defenders and to create visibility of the human rights work they do. A statement on the consultation was delivered by Ms. Hina Zilani, the Special Representative of the United Nations on Human Rights Defender. stressing the importance and need of such spaces. Mary Jane Riel, the coordinator of the International Women Human Rights Defender Coalition, was also a part of this unique event.
आज हामी यहाँ हामीहरू के गर्दैछौं भन्ने बारेमा मात्रै जम्मा भएका होइनौं। हामी आज हामीले गरेका कामहरूको कारणले आज हामीमाथि के भइरहेको छ भन्ने बारे पनि कुरा गर्न जम्मा भएका हौं।
This consultation concluded with the first declaration of women human rights defenders, known as Kathmandu Declaration 1. The declaration reflected the main points of the discussion that stressed on the security and future of women human rights defender and the need for a democratic republic Nepal and demand for constituent assembly election to achieve sustainable peace.
अपाङ्गहरूको मागलाई चाहिँ पूरा गर्नुपर्छ अथवा अपाङ्गहरूको अधिकारहरू यस्तो यस्तो भनेर यताउता भनेर हामीले सरकारसँग चाहिँ एउटा आन्दोलन जस्तै गर्यौं। त्यो बेलामा हामी 3-4 जना महिला थियौं है त्यो ग्रुपमा। हामीले आन्दोलन गर्न दिएन, पुलिसले पक्रेर लगिहाल्यो। अनि त्यसपछि हामीलाई केटी पुलिस थिएन। अनि हामी चाहिँ 3-4 जना महिला थियौं भने हामीले के भन्यौं भने हामीसँग नेपालमा अहिले महिला प्रहरी पनि भर्ना हुनु भएको छ। त्यो महिला प्रहरी कहाँ जानु भयो उहाँहरु हामीलाई तपाईहरुले छुन पाउनुहुन्न यो हाम्रो व्यक्तिगत अधिकारको कुरा हो तपाईहरुले हामीलाई छोएर जबरजस्ती धकेलेर पठाउन पाउनुहुन्न भनेर हामीले भन्यौं हैन त्यो भन्दाखेरि हामीलाई यति थोक मुख छोडे है त्यो अहिले यहाँ भन्नु नमिल्ने शब्दहरु भने जे पाते भने अनुहारमा यस्तो गरी तैले के सोचे कि तँलाई म हातमा समाउँदा हुन्छ भने हातमा समाए घोक्राके के गरे के हामीलाई तर पनि हामीले भन्न छोडिनौं हामीले तिमीहरुले हामीलाई छुन पाउँदैनौ भनेर एकदमै हामीले दबाब दिएर गर्यौं।
In December 2005, 7 party alliances signed a 12-point understanding with the Maoists. Within the framework of that understanding, Maoists committed themselves to multi-party democracy, and 7-party alliance, for their part, accepted the Maoist demand for election to a constituent assembly. At the beginning of 2006, the situation became yet tenser as 7-party launched movement against the royal regime to restore democracy. Expressing solidarity on 12-point historical accord between Maoist and 7-party alliances, people from every sphere of life came to street to overthrow King's autocratic regime. Women human rights defender from across the country too were at the forefront of the movement. WOREC, meanwhile, continued its work to monitor human rights situation during the protest and provided support to the injured protesters during the movement.
ढुङ्गा मुडा होइन हामी साथमा बसेर पलिटी कसेर हिजो जसरी गरियो अस्ति जसरी गरियो त्यसरी नै हामीहरूले आन्दोलन गर्नुपर्छ र सम्पूर्णहरूलाई हामीले आह्वान गर्छौं कि हामी जाउँ र कर्फ्युलाई तोडौं बरु खाना परे गोली खाउँ।
Finally, on April 24, 2006, King Gyanendra was forced to surrender and step down with a rising tide of popular people's movement. This historic breakthrough that lays the ground for the restoration of democracy was an outcome of the unprecedented courage and sacrifice of Nepali people, including women human rights defender. Because of this historic breakthrough, Parliament that was dissolved since King's takeover was reinstated with people's mandate to hold free, fair and democratic election of Constituent Assembly. Now, the historic moment to draft new constitution through the election of Constituent Assembly has begun. At this historic moment, we all should act with patience and courage to defeat regressive force and to move towards sustainable peace and democracy.